Hello, welcome. My topic is the methods of monitoring Sirenian populations, particularly the Trichechis manatus in Central America. So, researchers have many challenges as they attempt to monitor manatee populations, specifically the Antillean manatee. They're very shy and they have minimal time at the surface. They have strong responses to oncoming vessels and a low density of populations. So, I will be explaining 3 types of monitoring methods. The first one is unmanned aerial surveys, which is essentially a drone that flies above the water and takes pictures and videos of manatees. It is less expensive than a manned aerial survey, which would require a pilot, and it's also much easier to maneuver without having a full pilot and aircraft. It doesn't disrupt habitats, and it's useful for individual photo ID and specific location data. Unfortunately, the main disadvantage is it is hindered by environmental factors such as wave shadowing and water clarity, which makes the videos and the pictures not come out as clear. And also, it is pretty limited in the sense that it can only capture the dorsal side of the manatee. If you fly too low, it can also scare some of the manatees, but that isn't as common as the environmental factors. The second method I will be talking about is the mark recapture method. This can be done by capturing the manatee and tagging them with PIT tags, which are passive integrated transponder tags, or you could simply just take a picture of the manatee and then use that as your marking, so when you see it again, that's considered a recapture. My computer is frozen. Perfect. So this is pretty great for demographic information and photo IDs, and distribution can also be monitored with this. However, this is very expensive, especially if you have to buy the tags, and it's kind of invasive to the animal because they get very stressed out to be caught. You also need nets like nylon nets, you need the tags, you need people that are experienced, so it comes out to a pretty big cost, and it's also probably the manatee's least favorite. So my final method is a boat survey. This is ideal for collecting abundance and detecting trends. It's cheaper than the mark recapture method by far, and unlike the unmanned aerial surveys, it is not hindered by wave shadowing or water clarity. It's also very, very easy to repeat. The main cons are you need volunteers and also trained observers. And the people on the boat tend to distract each other. That is the main thing. So having more people doesn't necessarily mean that this will be better because they tend to distract each other. And then some other smaller cons that aren't as huge as the first two are sometimes manatees will hide from boats, so you might not see them. And essentially what you're doing is you're on a boat and you're looking at a 360 view, and you have trained observers and volunteers who spot manatees, and that's how you determine how many manatees there are in an area. And since you're out there for 30 minutes and manatees frequently resurface, you won't really miss them, so it's pretty good and very cheap. It's just, it takes longer and it does require some experience. So basically, the main issue of this is that Sirenian populations are found in developing nations where monitoring funds are scarce. So it's really important for them to have sound, repeatable, and inexpensive methods for monitoring. And because of that, the best is probably boat surveys. Since most people who live near the water, most nations will have access to a boat and can have access to people who would be willing to volunteer and should have access to trained observers. However, unmanned aerial surveys are coming up on the rise, and they are a new kind of technology, and I don't want to completely discourage that. It's just that drones and aerial surveys may seem daunting since they would have to purchase the drone and all the photography equipment, all the video equipment, and all of that. So that does have a cost up front. However, overall, it it's not nearly as expensive as the Recapture method. So for the most part, boat surveys and unmanned aerial surveys are probably the best methods, with boat surveys pulling through because it is the least expensive and it's very easy to repeat. Okay, thank you.